Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we're stepping into something that shapes every moment of your life, yet often gets overlooked. Your well-being isn't just a fleeting feeling or a passing mood. It is a complex system, woven throughout your body, your mind, your habits, and the people that surround you. It rises and falls with sleep, your breath, how you move, and even the type of light you experience each day. What may seem small can be powerful. A walk, a conversation, a memory, a moment of attention. All of these can shift the way your mind and body respond to the world. Beneath the surface, countless processes are working together, adjusting, repairing, learning, and guiding you in ways you may never fully notice. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. Allow your body to soften. Let your eyes grow heavy, and notice the day begin to gently fade away as we explore this inner world together. Let's begin. Your well-being is shaped by your body, brain, relationships, and surroundings. It can be tempting to think of feeling well as something private, tucked inside the mind like a secret mood. But human well-being is built more like weather. It forms from many forces meeting at once. Sleep changes how the brain reads the world. Food changes energy and patience. Movement alters chemistry in the blood and brain. A warm friendship can calm the nervous system faster than logic can. Even noise, clutter, light, and air quality can shift how safe or strained the body feels. That means well-being is not just a question of attitude. It is a whole ecology. A person may feel low because of loneliness, poor sleep, stress hormones, and dim winter light, all working together. Change one piece, and something else may start to move. Change several, and a life can feel surprisingly different, even before anything dramatic happens on the surface. A short walk can lift mood, memory, and focus within minutes. One of the most remarkable things about the human brain is how quickly it responds to movement. You do not need a marathon or a perfect routine to feel the shift. Even a brief walk can begin changing the body almost at once. Blood flow increases. Muscles start using fuel more efficiently. Stress chemistry can ease. The mind often feels less stuck because walking gives thought a rhythm, almost like gently rocking a restless system back into motion. Studies have found that people often think more clearly after walking, and some perform better on memory or attention tasks soon afterward. The setting can deepen the effect. A tree-lined path, open sky, or even a quieter street may help the brain relax its vigilance. It is such a simple act that people often overlook its power. Yet a few minutes of steady steps can begin turning agitation into momentum and fog into clarity. Deep sleep quietly resets emotion, learning, immunity, and energy overnight. While you lie still in darkness, the body enters one of its most important repair states. Deep sleep is not empty time. It is active restoration on a grand scale. During this phase, the brain helps strengthen useful memories while clearing away the clutter of the day. Hormones involved in growth and repair rise. The immune system carries out essential work, preparing defenses and restoring balance after stress. Muscles recover from effort. Energy systems reset. Even emotional resilience seems to depend on this hidden nightly work. After a poor night, ordinary problems can feel sharper, heavier, and more personal. After a good one, the same world often seems more manageable. It is astonishing that so much of what we call patience, motivation, and steadiness may depend on something we cannot witness directly. Each night, beneath awareness, the brain and body are rebuilding the conditions that make tomorrow feel possible. Sunlight helps set your body clock, mood, and nightly sleep. Morning light does far more than help you see. It acts like a timing signal for the brain, telling the body when the day has truly begun. Special cells in the eyes respond to brightness and send that information to the systems that regulate alertness, hormones, temperature, and the rising and falling rhythm of sleep. When this signal arrives at the right time, the body is more likely to feel awake during the day and ready for sleep later on. Mood can shift with it too. Many people notice that bright mornings make them feel more alive, and science suggests there is real biology behind that feeling. Light exposure helps anchor the daily pattern the brain expects. Without enough of it, the clock can drift. Then sleep becomes less predictable, energy becomes uneven, and emotion can feel strangely untethered. It is amazing that one of the oldest forces on Earth still sets so much of human life. Your gut and brain are in constant conversation through nerves and chemistry. Inside the body, there is a dialogue taking place that most people never feel directly. The digestive system and the brain exchange signals all day long through nerves, hormones, immune pathways, and chemical messengers produced by the microbes living in the gut. This means emotion can alter digestion, and digestion can influence mood, appetite, and mental clarity. Many people know the feeling of stress landing in the stomach before it fully forms in thought. That is not poetic language. It is biology speaking first. The vagus nerve helps carry some of this traffic, while gut bacteria help produce compounds that may affect the wider nervous system. Scientists are still mapping how deep this conversation goes, but the evidence already suggests something extraordinary. The mind is not floating above the body like a detached observer. It is in living contact with the organs below. Wellbeing, in part, is a story of this hidden conversation staying in balance. Breathing patterns can shift heart rate, calm, and attention in real time. Breathing is one of the few body systems that works both automatically and under conscious control, which makes it unusually powerful. Most of the time, it happens without instruction. Yet the moment you change its pace, depth, or rhythm, the body begins to respond. Slow, steady exhalations can help reduce physiological arousal. Faster breathing can prepare the body for action. Even attention tends to move with the breath, because rhythm gives the mind something simple and physical to follow. This is why breathing practices appear across so many cultures and healing traditions. They do not work by magic. They work because air, nerves, heart rhythm, and brain state are linked. In stressful moments, the breath often becomes shallow and hurried. Changing that pattern can send a different message inward. It is remarkable that such an ordinary act can become a lever. With no equipment at all, a person can begin nudging the whole system towards steadiness. Kindness changes well-being for the giver as well as the receiver. Most people think of kindness as something that travels outward, from one person to another. But it also circles back. Acts of care can affect the person who offers them, sometimes in surprisingly measurable ways. Helping someone, comforting them, giving time, or even making a small sacrifice for their ease can strengthen a sense of purpose and connection. The body may respond as well. Stress can soften when a person feels useful rather than helpless. Attention shifts away from narrow self-concern and toward shared life. That does not mean kindness should become a selfish strategy. Its beauty lies in its sincerity. Still, science increasingly suggests that generosity is good for human beings in both directions. In social species, this makes deep evolutionary sense. Communities survive when care moves through them. A kind act is never only about manners. It can become a biological event, changing emotion, meaning, and the texture of the day for everyone involved. Joy is not random. Your daily habits help build it. Joy can feel mysterious because it arrives as an emotion, and emotions often seem to appear on their own. But the conditions that support joy are frequently built in ordinary ways. Sleep shapes emotional steadiness. Movement can sharpen energy and brighten mood. Time with people you trust can create safety, and safety gives joy room to emerge. Even anticipation matters. Looking forward to something small can begin lifting the mind before the event itself arrives. Over time, habits become like channels that make certain feelings easier to reach. This does not mean life can be controlled perfectly, or that sorrow is a failure of routine. Human experience is far too complex for that. It does mean, though, that joy is not always a lucky accident. Often it grows where attention, rhythm, rest, connection, and meaning are given somewhere to land. Much of happiness begins long before the moment we finally notice it. Your brain can learn calm through repetition, just as it learns worry. Many people imagine calm as a personality trait, something a person either naturally has or does not. But the brain is always learning from repetition. If a mind rehearses danger, rush, and worst-case thinking every day, those pathways become easier to travel. The alarm system grows quicker, louder, and more convincing. The astonishing part is that the reverse is also true. Repeated experiences of safety, steady breathing, supportive connection, and deliberate recovery can train the nervous system in another direction. This is not instant, and it is not pretending nothing is wrong. It is practice at a biological level. The brain begins to expect that a pause can be safe. A setback does not always mean catastrophe. A racing heart does not always mean threat. With time, what once felt unnatural can become familiar. Calm is not always found. Often it is built, one repeated signal at a time, inside the circuitry of expectation itself. Exercise releases chemical signals that help the brain grow new connections. Movement changes the brain in ways that would have seemed almost magical not long ago. As muscles work, they release chemical messengers that travel through the body and influence the brain. At the same time, exercise is associated with increased levels of substances that support neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form and strengthen connections. In practical terms, this means movement may help the brain become more adaptable, more resilient, and more ready to learn. Some researchers compare this effect to preparing soil before planting. The experience itself does not insert knowledge, but it can make the brain more ready to receive it. This may be one reason exercise is linked with sharper thinking and better cognitive health across life. What is breathtaking is the unity of the system. A walk, a swim, a ride on the bicycle, all can send signals upward from the body that say, in effect, grow here, connect here, stay flexible here. Nature can lower stress, even when you only hear birdsong. There is something extraordinary about how quickly the human system responds to traces of the natural world. You do not always need a mountain, a forest, or a long escape into wilderness. In some studies, even the sound of birds has been linked with improvements in mood and reductions in stress. That suggests the brain may carry old expectations about what certain environments mean. Birdsong often signals relative safety in the landscape. It belongs to living places, to daylight, to spaces not dominated by engines, alarms, and hard edges. When that sound reaches us, something in the body may soften before thought catches up. This matters because modern stress is often relentless and sensory. The nervous system stays braced. Then, a natural sound slips in, and changes the tone of the whole scene. It is astonishing that a small thread of life, carried through air as song, can help remind the body that the world is not only pressure and noise. Hope is linked to better health, resilience, and goal following. Hope is sometimes mistaken for wishful thinking, as though it were nothing more than optimism wearing softer clothes. In reality, it appears to be a powerful psychological resource. Hopeful people are often better at imagining pathways forward, even when circumstances are difficult. They do not simply want the good outcome. They are more likely to believe that action still matters and that belief can change behavior in profound ways. People who feel hope may be more willing to persist, to recover after setbacks, and to keep working toward goals that would otherwise feel impossible. The body may benefit too, because hopelessness can drain motivation for sleep, movement, treatment, and connection. Hope helps keep a future in view. That may be its deepest power. It stretches the mind beyond the present obstacle and says there is still somewhere to go. In hard seasons, that is not a small comfort. It is often the difference between disengaging and continuing. Strong friendships can predict health as powerfully as famous medical risks. Human beings are often described as social creatures, but that phrase can sound softer than the truth. Close relationships do not simply make life more pleasant. They appear to affect physical health in profound ways. People with strong social ties often show better outcomes across many measures of well-being, and chronic isolation has been linked with serious health risks. This may be because friendship changes what the body expects from the world. Support can lower stress responses, improve recovery, and make healthy habits easier to maintain. A trusted friend may encourage sleep, movement, laughter, or medical care without ever giving a formal lecture. Just as importantly, companionship can change the meaning of difficulty. Pain, grief, and uncertainty feel different when they are shared. It is astonishing that conversation, belonging, and mutual care can ripple so deeply into the body. In that sense, friendship is not merely emotional comfort. It is part of human survival. Awe can make stress feel smaller and life feel larger. There are moments that seem to stretch the mind beyond its usual boundaries. Looking up at a sky crowded with stars, standing beneath enormous trees, hearing a piece of music that feels too vast for words, or learning something so strange and beautiful that your ordinary worries loosen their grip. This feeling is awe, and it appears to do more than simply impress us. Researchers have found that awe can change how we experience ourselves in relation to the world. People often report feeling less trapped inside their own concerns and more connected to something larger. Time can even feel different, as though it has opened a little. That may be one reason awe can soften stress. It rearranges scale. Problems do not always disappear, but they stop filling the whole frame. In a curious way, wonder can be medicinal. A changed sense of proportion can restore breath, perspective, and the feeling that life contains more than pressure. Loneliness can strain the body, not just the heart. Loneliness is often spoken of as though it were only a feeling, painful but somehow separate from the body. Yet the body appears to take social isolation very seriously. Human beings evolved in groups where connection meant protection, shared labor, and survival. When that bond is missing, the nervous system may begin to act as if something is wrong in the wider environment. Stress responses can stay elevated. Sleep may become lighter or less restorative. Inflammation and overall physiological wear may rise over time. This helps explain why loneliness can feel exhausting rather than merely sad. The body is not judging the quality of a calendar full of plans. It is reading whether a person feels known, supported, and held within human connection. That is why a crowded life can still contain deep isolation. It is also why one genuine relationship can matter so much. For a social species, belonging is not decoration. It is a condition the body recognizes as health. Laughter changes breathing, muscles, and stress chemistry all at once. A real laugh is far more than a sound of amusement. It sweeps through the body like a full system event. Breathing changes first, breaking into rhythmic bursts that push air out more forcefully than ordinary speech. Muscles in the face, chest, and abdomen join in. Attention shifts. Social barriers can drop. For a moment, tension that felt fixed may lose its grip. Laughter has been associated with changes in stress chemistry and with the kind of bodily release people often describe as feeling lighter afterward. There is also something deeply social about it. A laugh shared with another person can create instant synchrony, as though two nervous systems have briefly stepped into the same rhythm. That may be one reason it can feel so relieving. It does not only entertain, it resets the atmosphere between people. In a species built for connection, laughter is both signal and medicine, a sudden eruption that can loosen fear and restore a sense of ease. Music can reduce pain by changing expectation, attention, and emotion. Pain is not created by injury alone. The brain also shapes how pain is experienced, and that is where music becomes so fascinating. A piece of music can gather attention and pull it away from raw discomfort. It can create expectation, structure, and emotional movement, giving the mind something meaningful to follow instead of circling the sensation itself. Music may also help people feel less threatened by pain, which matters because fear can intensify what the body feels. In hospitals, during exercise, and even in daily life, people often report that certain songs make discomfort easier to tolerate. This does not mean the pain is imaginary. It means perception is dynamic. The brain is always deciding how much weight to give a signal. Music enters that process like an invisible guide, reshaping the experience from within. It is astonishing that patterned sound, nothing more solid than vibration in air, can alter one of the most intimate sensations a human being can feel. Gratitude can train attention to notice what fear often hides. Fear has a way of narrowing vision. When the brain senses threat, attention is pulled toward danger, lack, and the next possible problem. This can be useful in an emergency, but exhausting when it becomes a habit. Gratitude appears to work differently. It does not require denying difficulty or pretending pain is beautiful. Instead, it trains attention to detect another layer of reality at the same time. A person begins to notice support, shelter, effort, beauty, and moments of care that might otherwise pass unseen. Over time, this can change the emotional texture of life. The world stops appearing as a list of pressures only. It becomes more complete. Scientists have linked gratitude practices with improvements in mood and well-being, which makes sense when you consider what is being rehearsed. Attention is learning a broader map. The remarkable thing is that perception itself becomes richer. Fear says, look at what may go wrong. Gratitude answers, look at what is here as well. Good sleep helps the brain file memories and clear metabolic waste. Sleep is often described as rest, that the brain treats it more like a night shift. While consciousness fades, memory processing continues. Experiences from the day are sorted, stabilized, and integrated, which helps explain why learning often feels firmer after a good night. At the same time, another extraordinary process appears to increase during sleep. Fluid moves through the brain in a way that helps wash away metabolic byproducts that build up during waking life. In other words, the brain is not only organizing information, it is also carrying out maintenance, This dual role is one reason poor sleep can feel so destructive. Without enough of it, thoughts may become slower, memory less reliable, and mental clarity strangely dim. The breathtaking part is that these invisible operations happen without effort from us. Each night, if conditions allow, the brain begins filing what matters and cleaning what does not belong. By morning, the mind may be carrying both a sharper record and a cleaner workspace. Your heart rhythm changes with emotion, focus, and even breathing speed. The heart does not beat with metronomic sameness. Its rhythm is constantly adjusting in response to what the body and brain are doing. Emotion can change it. Attention can change it. The speed and pattern of breathing can change it almost immediately. This flexibility is part of what allows the body to meet shifting demands. In moments of alertness or strain, the pattern may become tighter and faster. During states of safety and regulation, it may become more variable in a healthy way, reflecting the nervous system's ability to adapt. Researchers study these changes because heart rhythm can reveal something about stress, recovery, and emotional state long before a person explains how they feel. It is astonishing to realize that the pulse in your chest is not simply pumping away in isolation. It is participating in a conversation. Breath, brain, and body are all shaping its pattern. The heart, in that sense, is not only a muscle. It is a listener. Gentle routines can reduce decision fatigue and protect mental energy. Every choice costs something. What to wear, when to answer a message, what to eat, whether to work now or later. One decision is small, but a day is crowded with them, and the brain pays for each. That is why routines can feel strangely powerful. They remove repeated negotiations and spare mental energy for harder things. Many highly effective people rely on this without realizing how biological it is. Predictable sequences lower cognitive load. The nervous system stops burning fuel on questions that have already been answered. Morning rituals, regular meal times, and familiar evening patterns can create a kind of internal glide path through the day. This does not make life dull. It makes thinking more available when it matters. A stable structure also reduces friction at moments when willpower is weakest. In that sense, routine is not the enemy of freedom. It is often the hidden architecture that protects clarity, steadiness, and the mind's limited daily reserves. A sense of purpose is linked to longer, healthier lives. Something remarkable happens when a person feels that life is pointed towards something meaningful. The goal does not have to be grand. It may be raising a child, making music, serving a community, caring for a garden, or showing up faithfully for work that matters to others. What changes is not only mood, but direction. People with a strong sense of purpose often care for themselves differently. They may recover more steadily from hardship, remain more engaged with daily life, and keep moving toward tomorrow, even when today is heavy. Research has linked this feeling with better health and longer life, which suggests meaning is not a decorative luxury. It may help organize behavior at the deepest level. A person who knows why they are getting up has a different relationship with effort, pain, and time. Purpose gives the future weight. It turns survival into participation and makes well-being feel less like maintenance and more like belonging to a story still unfolding. Daylight in the morning can improve sleep later that night. It sounds almost too simple, but one of the best ways to sleep well after dark may begin shortly after sunrise. Morning daylight acts like a daily calibration signal for the brain's internal clock. When light reaches the eyes early enough, it helps anchor the timing of alertness, hormone release, digestion, and a slow build-up toward night. This matters because sleep does not begin at bedtime. It begins with the body knowing what time the day truly started. If that signal is weak or delayed, the whole rhythm can slide later, leaving people tired in the morning and strangely awake when they want rest. Morning light helps draw a keener line between day and night. It tells the body, "Be awake now," so that later it can more easily say, "Now power down." It is astonishing that a simple walk outside, or even a few minutes by bright daylight, can help shape how deeply the body rests many hours later. Chronic stress can reshape attention, memory, and appetite over time. Stress is not only a feeling of pressure. When it lingers for weeks or months, it can begin teaching the brain and body to live differently. Attention may grow narrower, scanning for problems even in ordinary moments. Memory can become less reliable, because a mind in prolonged alertness is often better at detecting threat than storing detail. Appetite may shift as well. Some people lose interest in food, while others crave dense comfort because the body is trying to manage strain with quick energy and reward. Over time, this state can start to feel normal, which is part of what makes it so powerful. A person may think they have become distracted, forgetful, or difficult, when in fact their system has been adapting to unrelenting demand. The astonishing part is that prolonged pressure can quietly rewrite what the body expects from daily life. Chronic stress does not simply visit the system. It can remodel it. A mass recovery has room to intervene. Your posture can influence comfort, fatigue, and even confidence. The way you hold your body is not a frozen pose. It is a running conversation between muscles, balance, breathing, pain, mood, and attention. When posture collapses under strain, the effects can spread farther than most people realize. Certain positions can make breathing shallower, increase muscle tension, and leave the body working harder just to stay upright. Over time, that can contribute to discomfort and fatigue. Posture also changes how movement feels. A person who carries their head, shoulders, and spine with more support may use energy more efficiently and experience less strain during ordinary tasks. There is also a psychological side that makes this even more fascinating. Body position can affect how a person feels in a room, how ready they are to speak, and how much steadiness they seem to borrow from their own frame. Posture does not define character, but the body's arrangement can subtly shape both physical ease and social presence. Social touch can lower stress hormones and increase feelings of safety. Long before language became complex, mammals were already using contact to regulate one another. A hand on the shoulder, a hug, a hand held in grief, a parent settling a child with steady touch. These are not only emotional gestures, they are biological signals. Safe, welcomed contact can help the body shift out of defensive mode and into a state that feels more secure. Stress chemistry may soften. Muscles can let go a little. Breathing may deepen without effort. This is one reason comforting touch can feel so immediate. It speaks to the nervous system in an older language than explanation. Of course, context matters completely. Touch only helps when it is trusted and wanted. When it is, the effect can be profound. The body stops acting as though it is facing the world alone. In social species, that matters enormously. A simple embrace can become a physiological message that says you are not isolated, and right now, you may safely exhale. Moving your body can be one of the fastest mood interventions. Mood can seem like weather arriving from nowhere, but movement shows how quickly the system can sometimes be changed from the outside in. A person may begin in heaviness, restlessness, or irritation, then stand up, start walking, stretch, dance, climb stairs, or simply move with purpose for a few minutes. Suddenly, something shifts. the mind is no longer circling in exactly the same way. Part of this comes from chemistry, because movement changes blood flow, arousal, and signaling throughout the body. Part comes from rhythm. Motion interrupts stuck mental loops and gives the brain fresh sensory input. There is also a psychological effect in doing rather than only thinking. The body receives evidence that something is happening. This is why movement can help when a person feels frozen, foggy, or emotionally jammed. It does not solve every problem, but it can change the platform from which the problem is experienced. Sometimes the fastest way to influence the mind is through the muscles. The mind reads safety from faces, voices, and familiar places. Human beings are constantly interpreting the world for signs of danger or safety, and much of that reading happens below awareness. A calm face, a warm tone of voice, a known room, a familiar path home. All of these can influence how guarded or settled the body feels. This is astonishing when you notice how fast it happens. You may enter a place and relax before you can explain why, or tense at once because something in the expression, sound, or setting feels wrong. The nervous system is gathering cues long before the thinking mind finishes its sentence. This helps explain why supportive people matter so much and why certain spaces can feel deeply restorative. Safety is not judged only by facts. It is sensed through signals. A person's voice can steady another person's whole system. A familiar place can lower vigilance. Well-being often begins in these small readings where the body decides whether it can soften or must stay on guard. Rest is not laziness. It is biological maintenance. In a culture that often praises constant output, rest can seem suspicious, as though stopping must mean failure or weakness. But the body does not experience rest as wasted time. It experiences it as necessary maintenance. Muscles recover in it. Hormones rebalance in it. Attention repairs in it. The brain consolidates learning more effectively when effort is followed by recovery, and the nervous system needs periods of lower demand to remain flexible and responsive. Without rest, strain accumulates even when performance still looks impressive from the outside. That is part of the danger. A person can appear productive while quietly draining the systems that make productivity possible. Real recovery protects future energy. It reduces error, irritability, and burnout. It also helps restore motivation, because a chronically depleted mind starts treating even meaningful tasks as threats. Rest is not the opposite of useful action. It is one of the conditions that makes useful action sustainable in the first place. Even brief mindfulness practice can change attention and emotional recovery. Attention usually behaves like a captive thing. It is pulled by threat, novelty, memory, and noise, often without permission. Mindfulness becomes fascinating because it begins training attention to notice what it is doing in real time. Even short periods of practice can help a person recognize distraction sooner, return to the present more deliberately, and interrupt emotional spirals before they gather full force. The effect is not that thoughts vanish. The effect is that the mind becomes less fused with each thought that appears. A worry can be seen as a passing event rather than a command. A difficult feeling can be noticed without being instantly obeyed. Over time, this can change emotional recovery. The same stressor may still land, but it does not hold the system as long. That is a profound shift. A few minutes of observing breath, sensation, or sound can begin teaching the brain that awareness itself is a stabilizing skill, not merely a passive state. Strong communities can protect well-being during hardship and uncertainty. When life becomes unstable, people often imagine resilience as a solitary strength, something built entirely inside the individual. Yet, One of the most powerful forms of protection may exist between people, not within them. Strong communities can soften the impact of hardship by sharing information, practical help, emotional support, and a sense that no one is carrying the full weight alone. In uncertain times, this matters enormously. A neighbor checking in, a friend bringing food, a familiar group gathering regularly. All of these can change how threatening the world feels to the body. Isolation magnifies danger. Connection distributes it. Communities also create continuity. They preserve routines, stories, and mutual trust when larger systems feel shaky. That can make a crisis more survivable, not because pain disappears, but because meaning and support remain in circulation. Human beings endure more when they feel held within a network of care, memory, and shared responsibility. Your immune system responds to sleep, stress, and social life. The immune system is often imagined as a silent army waiting to attack invading germs. But it is far more responsive and more entangled with daily life than that image suggests. It listens constantly to the state of the body. Sleep helps regulate its timing and effectiveness. Stress can alter its signaling, sometimes sharpening short-term defense while wearing down balance over longer periods. Even social life appears to matter because the body interprets belonging and isolation as meaningful conditions. This means immunity is not only about exposure to illness. It is also shaped by how well the whole organism is living. A person who's exhausted, isolated, and under strain may not mount the same response as one who is rested, supported, and recovering well. That is an extraordinary idea. The body's defenses are not separate from experience. They are woven into it. Immunity, in part, is the biology of how life is being lived day by day. Curiosity can make difficult experiences feel more manageable and less threatening. Curiosity has a surprising power. It can change the emotional temperature of an experience without changing the event itself. When something feels hard, confusing, or uncomfortable, the mind often moves toward resistance. It asks how to escape, how bad this is, or what it means about the future. Curiosity opens a different door. It asks what is happening here, what can be learned, what this feeling is made of, and whether there is something worth noticing inside the difficulty. That shift may sound small, but it can be profound. Threat narrows the mind. Curiosity gives it room. A challenge becomes less like a wall and more like terrain. Even pain, grief, or uncertainty can become slightly more workable when met with interest instead of immediate alarm. This is not cold detachment. It is engaged attention. The remarkable thing is that wonder, usually linked with discovery, can also become a stabilizing force when life is at its most demanding. Time in green spaces is linked to better mood and concentration. Something changes when the human mind spends time among leaves, grass, trees, and open living landscapes. Green spaces seem to restore attention in a way built environments often do not. In cities and indoors, the mind is constantly pulled by signals that demand something. Screens flash, traffic moves, signs instruct, walls constrain. Nature presents complexity too, but in a different rhythm. Branches move, light shifts, birds cross the air, and the eye is invited rather than ordered. This appears to matter for mood and concentration. People often report feeling clearer, calmer, and less mentally worn after time in parks, gardens, or wooded places. The effect can arrive even without dramatic scenery. A patch of green in an ordinary neighborhood may still help. That is astonishing when you think about it. A living landscape does not solve the whole human condition, yet it can restore some of the resources the mind quietly loses in overstimulating settings. The brain seems to recognize something ancient there. Small daily pleasures can matter more than rare dramatic highs. Many people imagine happiness as a summit, something reached in exceptional moments. A major success, a perfect holiday, a life-changing surprise. Those moments matter, of course, but they are not where most of life is lived. Well-being is more often built from recurring signals of enjoyment, comfort, and delight that arrive in ordinary time. A favorite drink in the morning, sunlight moving across a room, a song played at the right moment, a brief joke with someone familiar. These experiences may seem too small to count, yet they arrive often enough to shape the emotional climate of a life. Rare dramatic highs can be powerful, but they are fleeting and hard to sustain. Small pleasures are different. They can be woven into the fabric of the day, giving the nervous system repeated reminders that life contains reward, beauty, and ease. What looks minor in scale may become enormous in accumulation. Daily life is changed more by what returns than by what dazzles once. The body often notices stress before the conscious mind does. Long before a person says, "I am stressed," the body may already be sending signals. The jaw tightens, shoulders rise, breathing becomes shallow, sleep changes, digestion shifts. The heart may feel quicker, or energy may take on a strained, brittle quality. This happens because the body is constantly reading demand, uncertainty, and overload beneath conscious thought. It responds first, then hands the evidence upward later. That sequence is fascinating because it means stress is often discovered physically before it is understood psychologically. A person may think they are coping well, while the body is quietly keeping a different record. This is why aches, restlessness, sudden fatigue, or unexplained irritability can matter. They may be messages rather than inconveniences. The body is not being dramatic. It is reporting conditions. In that sense, physical sensation becomes an early warning language. Learning to notice those signals can change everything, because intervention becomes possible before strain hardens into exhaustion or illness. Hydration can affect energy, mood, and mental sharpness surprisingly quickly. Water seems too simple to be important in a dramatic way, yet the body depends on it with astonishing sensitivity. Even mild dehydration can begin affecting how a person feels and thinks. Energy may dip. Headaches can appear. Mood may become flatter or more irritable. Attention can grow fuzzy, as though the mind has lost some of its precision. This happens because water is woven into nearly every system. It supports blood volume, temperature regulation, nutrient transport, and the chemical environment in which cells do their work. The brain, in particular, notices when this balance shifts. What makes hydration so fascinating is how quickly the change can happen. A person may assume they are tired, unmotivated, or mentally off, when part of the story is simply that the body is undersupplied. In a world full of complicated explanations, it is remarkable that something as ordinary as drinking enough water can restore clarity, steadiness, and a more workable kind of energy. Breathing out slowly can help switch the body toward calm. There is something almost magical about the exhale, though the mechanism is deeply biological. When breathing out becomes slower and longer, the nervous system often begins to shift. Heart rhythm can soften. Muscles may release some of their tension. The body receives a signal that immediate action is not required. This is partly because exhalation is closely tied to the branch of the nervous system involved in recovery and regulation. In moments of fear or urgency, the breath usually shortens and speeds up. A deliberate, unhurried release of air can begin sending a different message. It says, the danger is not absolute. Not now. Not in this exact second. That makes the exhale more than a mechanical event. It becomes a lever the body can actually use. Among all the tools human beings have invented for calming themselves, it is extraordinary that one of the most effective was present from the beginning, hidden inside a single, lengthened breath outward. Rituals can make uncertain days feel steadier and more predictable. When the world feels unstable, the mind begins searching for anchors. Rituals can become one of the most powerful. Unlike habits that happen automatically, rituals carry intention. They mark time and create a sense of order, even when life outside them is changing. Lighting a candle at the same hour, making tea in a certain way, writing a few lines before bed, walking the same path each morning. These acts may look small from the outside, yet they can transform the texture of a day. Rituals tell the nervous system that something remains known. They offer shape where there might otherwise be only drift. They also carry meaning, which is part of their strength. The act is not just repeated, it is inhabited. In uncertain times, that matters deeply. A ritual can feel like a conversation with continuity itself. It says the day has edges, the self has a place within it, and not everything important is being decided by chaos. Supporting others can strengthen your own sense of meaning. Helping another person can do something extraordinary to the helper. It can pull a life outward from loops of self-concern and place it back into relationship, usefulness, and purpose. This does not mean people should disappear into constant service or ignore their own needs. It means that support can reveal something essential about human beings. We are shaped not only by what we receive, but by what we are able to offer. Listening to someone in pain, showing up with practical help, encouraging a discouraged friend, or teaching what you know can create a powerful sense that your presence matters in the world. That feeling is deeply stabilizing. It turns abstract goodness into lived reality. Meaning stops being a philosophical puzzle and becomes an action. There is something deeply moving in that. At times when life feels fragmented or directionless, being of use to someone else can restore the feeling that one's own life is connected, necessary, and alive with consequence. Sleep loss can make neutral events feel more emotionally intense. After poor sleep, the world can start to feel strangely sharper in the wrong way. A delayed reply, a small mistake, an ordinary comment, even a mild inconvenience can land with more force than it should. This happens because sleep helps regulate the brain systems that keep emotion in proportion. When that recovery is cut short, the alarm centers can react more strongly, while the regions that help with perspective and control may work less smoothly. The result is not imagined weakness. It is a real shift in how the brain interprets the same world. A neutral face may seem colder. A minor frustration may feel personal. An everyday task may seem loaded with pressure. This is one reason tired people often say they feel overwhelmed by things that would normally be manageable. The event did not change much. The filter did. Sleep loss can quietly turn ordinary life into something more emotionally jagged and much harder to carry. Exercise can improve depression symptoms in some people as much as medication. This is one of the most astonishing findings in well-being science because it reveals just how deeply movement reaches into the mind. In some people, regular exercise can reduce symptoms of depression to a degree comparable with medication. That does not mean movement replaces treatment for everyone, or that depression is simple. It is not. But it does show that the body has powerful ways of influencing mood from the ground up. Exercise changes brain chemistry, increases blood flow, supports neuroplasticity, and can restore a sense of agency that depression often steals. It also creates rhythm, and rhythm matters when life feels shapeless. A walk taken every morning, a swim repeated each week, a steady climb up the same hill, these acts become more than fitness. They become signals to the brain that life is still in motion. Sometimes healing begins not with a thought, but with the body moving before hope has fully returned. Your circadian clock influences hunger, alertness, and hormone release. Hidden inside the body is a timing system so influential that it shapes daily life even when we barely notice it. The circadian clock does far more than tell you when to feel sleepy. It helps regulate when you feel alert, when hunger rises, when hormones are released, and when the body is best prepared for activity or rest. This internal timing network works like an orchestra conductor, cueing different systems to come in at the right hour. That is why the same meal can feel appealing at one time and unthinkable at another. It is why energy surges and fades in patterns. It is why late nights, jet lag, and irregular schedules can leave a person feeling deeply out of step. The astonishing part is that well-being depends not only on what we do, but on when we do it. Human biology is rhythmic. The body is not built for randomness. It is built for cycles, cues, and a day that arrives in order. Warm relationships can buffer the body against the wear of stress. Stress leaves marks on the body over time. It can strain sleep, shift mood, raise tension, and keep the nervous system running hotter than it was meant to. Yet close, caring relationships seem to soften some of that wear. A trusted person can change how the body experiences difficulty, even when the problem itself remains. Part of this is emotional. Burdens feel lighter when they are shared. Part is biological. Support can reduce how intensely the system reacts, making recovery easier after pressure or fear. This means affection, reliability, and emotional warmth are not merely pleasant extras. They can become a form of protection. A person who feels understood may return to balance faster after conflict, work strain, or bad news. It is extraordinary that conversation, presence, and care can affect the body in this way. Human beings are not designed to absorb endless stress alone. Connection helps distribute impact, and in doing so, protects the mind and body from prolonged erosion. Forest air contains plant compounds that may support immune activity. A forest is not only a beautiful arrangement of trunks and leaves. It is also a living chemical world. Trees release aromatic compounds into the air, especially in warm seasons. And these substances may do more than create that distinct woodland smell. Some research suggests that breathing them in may influence immune activity, including the function of certain cells involved in defense. This gives a walk through the woods a new kind of wonder. You are not just seeing the forest. You are entering a biological atmosphere made by plants. The air itself becomes part of the experience. Along with cooler temperatures, softer sound, and visual complexity, these airborne compounds may help explain why time in forests can feel so restorative. It is remarkable that trees, while rooted and silent, may still affect human well-being through chemistry released into open space. A forest does not merely surround you. It interacts with you, shaping the body through every breath you take beneath its canopy. Anticipating something pleasant can lift mood before it even happens. One of the mind's most beautiful abilities is that it can begin enjoying a good moment before the moment arrives. Looking forward to a meal with a friend, a quiet evening, a holiday, a song you plan to hear, or even a favorite drink at the end of the day can begin lifting mood in advance. This happens because the brain's reward systems respond not only to receiving pleasure, but to expecting it. Anticipation creates a kind of emotional light before the event itself appears. In some cases, the waiting can be almost as meaningful as the experience. It gives shape to time and places a point of brightness ahead. That can matter enormously during difficult weeks, because even small future pleasures can help carry a person forward. The astonishing thing is that well-being is influenced not only by what is happening now, but by what the mind believes is coming. A hopeful horizon can start changing the present immediately. The brain's reward system responds strongly to progress, not only success. Human beings often imagine motivation as the result of reaching the finish line. Yet the brain is deeply moved by something more immediate than final victory. It responds to progress. A step completed, a task partly solved, a skill slightly improved, a page written, a habit continued for another day. These moments may look modest from the outside, but inside the brain they can matter enormously. Progress signals that effort is working, and that signal helps sustain future effort. This is one reason enormous goals can become discouraging when they stay distant for too long. The reward system needs signs of movement, of only distant promises. That is why visible progress can feel energizing even before the larger aim is achieved. It turns the path itself into a source of motivation. This is a profound design feature of human well-being. The brain does not only celebrate endings. It is built to draw encouragement from motion, from becoming, from the feeling of advancing through time. Rumination keeps stress alive long after the danger has passed. A stressful event may last minutes, but the mind can keep replaying it for hours, days, or even years. This is rumination, the habit of circling the same thoughts without reaching resolution. It feels like problem solving, yet often it only extends the life of the original stress. The body responds each time the event is mentally reopened. Heart rate may rise, muscles may tighten, mood may darken. The nervous system acts as though the threat is still active, even when the room is safe and the moment is over. That is what makes rumination so exhausting. It turns memory into a continuing exposure. Instead of allowing experience to settle into the past, it keeps dragging it back into the present. The astonishing part is that thoughts alone can do this much. A danger no longer occurring can still shape biology through repetition. In that sense, rumination becomes a hidden amplifier, keeping old strain warm long after life has moved on. Naming a feeling can reduce the brain's alarm response. There is something powerful about putting language to emotion. When a person can say, "This is fear, this is shame, this is grief, this is frustration," the experience often begins to change. It may still hurt, but it becomes less chaotic. Part of what makes emotion overwhelming is vagueness. The system reacts before the mind can organize what is happening, and that uncertainty can intensify alarm. Naming helps create structure. It turns a flood into something with edges. Research suggests that this simple act may reduce activity in brain regions involved in threat detection, while engaging areas linked with regulation and meaning. That is astonishing, because it means a well-chosen word can alter biology. Language becomes a tool of calming, not just communication. This is why emotional vocabulary matters so much. The more precisely a person can recognize what they feel, the less likely they are to be ruled by an unnamed storm. Clarity can begin softening distress from within. Play is not childish. It is a deep biological need. Play is often treated as a luxury, something optional, unserious, or reserved for the young. Yet across the animal world, play appears again and again in species that need flexibility, intelligence, and social skill. Human beings are no exception. Play helps the brain explore possibility without the full cost of failure. It sharpens creativity, teaches social timing, strengthens bonds, and lets the body and mind experiment with freedom. In children, this is obvious, but adults need it too. Humor, games, improvisation, dancing, teasing, building, and spontaneous fun all awaken capacities that pure efficiency tends to flatten. Without play, life can become brittle. The system may still function, but it loses some of its adaptability and joy. That is why play belongs in conversations about well-being. It is not an escape from real life. It is one of the ways real life stays resilient, social, and mentally alive. A playful species is often the more flexible and healthier one. Walking with someone can improve connection, mood, and conversation flow. There is a special kind of ease that often appears when two people walk side by side. A face-to-face conversation can feel intense. It asks for stillness, eye contact, and a kind of directness that sometimes makes thought tighten up. Walking changes that. The body falls into rhythm. The eyes share a path instead of a stare. Pauses feel natural because the world keeps moving around the words. This can make difficult conversations gentler and ordinary ones more alive. Mood often lifts as movement, fresh air, and social contact begin working together. Ideas also seem to move more freely. People remember things, tell stories, and make connections they might not find sitting indoors. Some therapists, friends, and thinkers have long understood this without needing a lab to prove it. A shared walk can become more than exercise or company. It becomes a moving corridor where closeness, clarity, and emotional ease can arrive together. Good well-being often depends more on rhythms than dramatic breakthroughs. People love the idea of transformation happening in a single dazzling moment. A revelation, a perfect plan, a sudden new self. Yet most real well-being is built less like lightning and more like tide. It depends on rhythms that return and return again. Sleep at roughly the right time. Meals that arrive with some steadiness. Movement repeated often enough to become part of life. Connection that does not appear only in crisis. These patterns may look unimpressive from the outside, but the body thrives on them. Rhythms help regulate energy, mood, digestion, attention, and the subtle timing of systems that work best when they can predict what comes next. A dramatic breakthrough can inspire change, but rhythm is what carries change into the tissues of daily life. The astonishing truth is that the body often trusts repetition more than intensity. Health is rarely built by one heroic day. It is usually shaped by what the nervous system can rely on tomorrow. Savoring a good moment can make it last longer in memory. Pleasure often slips past too quickly. A lovely meal, a kind glance, warm sunlight, laughter in the right moment. And then it is gone before the mind has really taken it in. Savoring changes that. It is the act of staying with a good experience long enough for it to deepen. When a person lingers with enjoyment, notices detail, and lets the moment fully register, the brain appears more likely to store it with strength and clarity. This matters because positive experiences are often lighter than negative ones in the mind's accounting. They pass through quickly unless we give them a little extra attention. Savoring is not clinging. It is receiving. It allows a brief moment to spread out and become more nourishing than its duration would suggest. A few seconds of true noticing can sometimes echo for hours or return in memory years later. Well-being is shaped not only by what happens, but by what we let ourselves fully feel. The vagus nerve helps link breathing, emotion, heart rate, and digestion. Running through the body is a remarkable communication line that helps coordinate some of the most intimate parts of being alive. The vagus nerve reaches from the brain into the chest and abdomen, touching organs involved in heartbeat, breathing, and digestion. Because of this, it plays a major role in regulation. It helps explain why emotions can affect the stomach, why slow breathing can influence the heart, and why states of safety or stress seem to ripple through the whole body at once. This is not a tidy machine with separate compartments. It is a living network, and the vagus nerve is one of its great messengers. Researchers study it because its activity seems tied to resilience, recovery, and the ability to shift between engagement and rest. That is astonishing when you think about it. One nerve helps weave together breath, feeling, pulse, and gut into a single conversation. Well-being, in part, is the quality of that conversation staying flexible and alive. Your body keeps emotional score through tension, sleep, and information. Emotions do not vanish simply because words stop. The body often continues carrying what the mind has pushed aside. Stress can linger in tightened shoulders, a clenched jaw, restless sleep, shallow breath, or fatigue that seems to appear from nowhere. Over longer stretches, emotional strain may also shape inflammation and other physiological processes, leaving traces in systems far removed from conscious thought. This is one reason unresolved difficulty can feel so physical. The body is not separate from experience. It is one of the places experience gets stored. A person may say they are fine, while the body keeps a quieter and more accurate record. That record can appear as soreness, irritability, poor rest, or a sense of always being slightly braced. The extraordinary part is that healing often works in both directions. Emotional relief can soften the body, and bodily release can help ease emotion. Human life is written not only in memory, but also in muscle, sleep, and chemistry. A cluttered environment can quietly drain attention and raise stress. A room does not need to be noisy to overwhelm the mind. Too many objects, unfinished piles, and visual interruptions can place a hidden demand on attention simply by being present. Each item becomes a small signal, a reminder, a decision, or an unresolved task. The brain keeps registering them even when you are trying not to notice. Over time, that can create a subtle sense of friction. Focus becomes harder to hold. Rest becomes less complete. Stress rises not because of one dramatic problem, but because the environment keeps asking for tiny fragments of mental energy. This is what makes clutter so fascinating. Its effect is often quiet and cumulative. A person may feel more tired or irritable without realizing that part of the strain is visual. Order does not guarantee peace, but it can reduce background cognitive noise. When space becomes simpler, the mind often stops spending so much effort filtering, tracking, and bracing against what surrounds it. Creative hobbies can improve mood by combining focus, novelty, and reward. There is something wonderfully restorative about making something that did not exist before. Drawing, singing, knitting, woodworking, baking, writing, gardening, playing an instrument, all of these can change mood in a way that is hard to reduce to one mechanism. Part of the effect comes from focus. Attention gathers around the task and stops roaming through worry for a while. Part comes from novelty, because the brain responds with interest when something is unfolding, changing, or taking shape under the hands. Then there is reward. A line becomes a picture. Ingredients become bread. Notes become music. The mind receives evidence that effort can become form, and that is deeply satisfying. Creative hobbies also allow identity to expand beyond duty and survival. A person becomes not only someone coping with life, but someone making, shaping, and exploring. That shift matters. Creativity is not merely decoration for well-being. It is one of the ways human beings remember they can participate in life. Smell can change emotion faster than almost any other sense. A scent can move through a person with astonishing speed. Before words arrive, before analysis begins, the emotional shift may already be happening. Fresh bread, rain on dry ground, pine needles, smoke, perfume, a hospital corridor, an old book. Each smell can call up feeling almost instantly. This happens because smell is closely tied to brain regions involved in memory and emotion. Unlike other senses that travel through more elaborate processing routes, scent often reaches deeper systems with unusual directness. That is why it can feel so primal and so sudden. A fragrance can bring comfort, homesickness, fear, hunger, longing, or calm, before the mind has fully identified what it is. In some cases, a whole forgotten scene seems to bloom from a single breath. This makes smell one of the most mysterious and powerful ingredients in well-being. The air around us is not emotionally neutral. Sometimes it carries keys that unlock memory, mood, and entire vanished worlds. Gentle exercise can reduce anxiety by burning off stress chemistry. Anxiety often fills the body with energy that has nowhere useful to go. The heart speeds up. Muscles prepare. Breathing changes. The system acts as though action is needed, even when no physical response is possible. Gentle exercise can help by giving that activation somewhere to move. A walk, a slow cycle, stretching, light swimming, or steady movement through space can help the body use the chemistry that stress has already released. This does not mean anxiety is simply excess energy, but it does mean the body may calm more easily after motion than after pure stillness. Movement also provides rhythm and sensory grounding. Feet meet the floor. Arms swing. The world becomes physical again instead of purely mental. That can make fear feel less trapped inside the mind. The beautiful thing is that the exercise does not need to be punishing. Sometimes the most effective response is not intensity, but steady, manageable motion that tells the body the danger is passing and we are moving through it. Eating with others can support well-being beyond the food itself. A meal is never only fuel. When shared with others, it can become a ceremony of belonging, rhythm, and mutual attention. People have gathered around food for thousands of years, and that pattern is not accidental. Eating together slows time in a particular way. Conversation rises and falls. Faces soften. The body receives nourishment, while the social world says, "You are part of something." This may be one reason shared meals are linked with benefits beyond nutrition alone. They can support emotional connection, strengthen family and community bonds, and create a regular structure in the day that many people deeply need. Even simple food can feel more satisfying when it arrives with company. That is the fascinating part. Human well-being is shaped not only by what enters the mouth, but by the atmosphere in which it happens. A table can become more than furniture. It can become a place where the nervous system learns safety, the mind learns belonging, and life feels briefly held together. Meaningful conversation predicts happiness better than small talk alone. Human beings can talk all day and still feel unseen. That is what makes meaningful conversation so important. It reaches past updates, politeness, and the surface choreography of social life and moves into something more nourishing. When people speak honestly about hopes, fears, memories, values, or questions that truly matter to them, something in the nervous system often changes. Guard lowers. Attention sharpens. A person begins to feel known rather than merely present. Studies on well-being suggest that richer conversation is linked with greater happiness than a life made up mostly of shallow exchanges. That makes deep sense. We are not only information-sharing creatures. We are meaning-sharing creatures. To be listened to with care can steady the body and brighten the mind in a way that casual chatter often cannot. Small talk has its place. It opens doors. But deeper conversation is what often turns contact into connection, and connection into something that genuinely supports a life. Caring for a pet can lower stress and increase daily routine. There is something extraordinary about being needed by another living creature in such a direct and unpretentious way. A pet does not care about your status, your unfinished tasks, or the story you tell about yourself. It needs food, care, movement, attention, and presence. That alone can change a day. Feeding a cat at the same hour, walking a dog before breakfast, cleaning a cage, or sitting quietly with an animal nearby creates rhythm where life might otherwise sprawl. Many people also find that animals lower stress in a way that feels immediate. Touch becomes simpler. Company becomes steadier. A dog leaning against your leg or a cat settling into your lap can shift the atmosphere of a room without a word. Pets also draw people outward into action and routine, which matters profoundly for well-being. The bond may look simple, but beneath it lies something deep. Care, affection, and structure meet in one small daily relationship. Compassion for yourself can improve motivation more than harsh self-criticism. Many people assume that inner harshness is what keeps them striving. They believe that without self-criticism, they would become lazy, careless, or weak. Yet the evidence points in the more surprising direction. Self-compassion often supports motivation more effectively than contempt does. When people respond to mistakes with understanding instead of attack, they are more likely to recover, learn, and try again. Harsh self-judgment tends to trigger shame, and shame often leads not to growth, but to hiding, avoidance, or collapse. Compassion does something different. It keeps dignity intact while still making room for responsibility. It says, "This hurt, this matters, and you can continue." That is a much stronger platform for change. Think of how a wise teacher or trusted friend would respond to failure. Not by pretending it is fine, but by helping you remain in relationship with your own effort. Well-being grows better in that climate. Growth usually needs honesty, but it also needs mercy. Recovery is where training, learning, and healing actually take hold. Effort gets most of the glory, but recovery is where the real transformation happens. Muscles do not grow stronger while lifting the weight. They adapt afterward. Skills do not settle fully while cramming without pause. The brain needs time to consolidate what was practiced. Tissue does not mend in the middle of strain. It repairs when demand eases enough for rebuilding to begin. This makes recovery one of the most underrated forces in well-being. It is not empty time between important moments. It is the phase in which important moments become lasting change. Athletes know this when they rest between sessions. Students feel it after sleep sharpens what study first introduced. Healing bodies depend on it. Even emotional repair often unfolds after the stressful event has passed, when the system finally has room to reset. This is astonishing because it overturns a common myth. More effort is not always better. Without recovery, training exhausts, learning blurs, and healing stalls before it can truly land. The placebo effect reveals how expectation can influence real physical symptoms. Few discoveries are more humbling than this one. Sometimes the body changes not because of an active drug, but because the person believes help has arrived. The placebo effect is not fake healing or weakness of mind. It is a real biological response in which expectation alters symptoms such as pain, nausea, fatigue, and other bodily experiences. The brain, believing relief is possible, begins changing how signals are processed. Chemicals involved in pain control and regulation may shift. Perception itself can change. This does not mean belief can cure everything, or that illness is imaginary. It means expectation is part of physiology. The story the brain tells about what is happening can shape what the body feels next. That is a breathtaking idea. Human beings are not passive machines receiving symptoms from the outside. Interpretation matters. Context matters. Trust matters. The placebo effect shows that hope, ritual, and belief can enter the body and alter real experience in measurable ways. Good sleep begins in daylight, not only at bedtime. Most people think sleep is built in the hour before bed, through darkness, silence, and the right routine. Those things matter, but the process starts much earlier. The body prepares for night by how it experiences the day. Bright morning light, movement, regular meals, and clear stretches of wakefulness all help strengthen the signals that later support sleep. In other words, the brain needs a convincing daytime in order to produce a convincing night. When daylight is missed, activity is irregular, or the day blurs into dim indoor sameness, the internal clock can lose some of its sharpness. Then bedtime becomes a negotiation instead of a natural descent. This is what makes healthy sleep so fascinating. It is not an isolated event. It is the final chapter of a cycle that began after waking. Night rest depends partly on the quality of the day that came before it. The body sleeps best when daylight has done its work properly. Too much busyness can feel productive while quietly eroding well-being. Busyness can be intoxicating because it mimics importance. A packed calendar, constant messages, endless errands, and a mind always occupied can create the feeling that life is moving forward. Yet activity and well-being are not the same thing. In fact, too much busyness can hide exhaustion until it becomes impossible to ignore. The nervous system stays activated. Meals are rushed. Sleep becomes thinner. Attention splinters into fragments. Reflection disappears. A person may keep producing, answering, and achieving, while the deeper supports of health are wearing down underneath. This is what makes busyness so deceptive. It often feels useful in the moment because movement is visible, while erosion is not. You can point to what got done, but not always to what was lost. Over time, that loss becomes real. Joy fades. Relationships thin. The body grows brittle. Well-being requires not only motion, but space. Without enough space, even successful lives can begin feeling strangely empty and unsustainable. The brain needs boredom sometimes to wander, connect, and create. Boredom is usually treated like a flaw in the day, something to escape as quickly as possible. Yet the brain may need periods of understimulation in order to do some of its most interesting work. When attention is not pinned to a screen, a task, or a stream of novelty, the mind begins to wander. That wandering is not useless drift. It is often when memory, imagination, and loose connections start mingling in new ways. A solution appears in the shower. A creative idea arrives on the train. A forgotten insight resurfaces while staring out of a window. This happens because the brain, given enough open space, starts exploring its own landscape. Constant input can prevent that. It fills every gap before thought has room to unfold. Boredom, then, is not always a failure of engagement. It can be a doorway. Behind it may lie reflection, invention, and the kind of mental wandering that helps human beings make unexpected connections that busier minds might miss entirely. Emotional resilience grows through practice, support, and recovery, not toughness alone. Resilience is often described as grit, as though the strongest people are simply the ones who feel the least and keep going the longest. But real emotional resilience is more complex and more humane than that. It grows through repeated encounters with challenge, yes, but also through support, reflection, and recovery afterward. A resilient person is not someone untouched by stress. It is someone who can bend without staying bent, someone who can feel deeply and still find a way back. This is built partly through practice, by learning how to regulate, how to ask for help, how to rest, and how to make sense of difficulty without becoming defined by it. Relationships matter here. So does sleep. So does safe experience repeated over time. Toughness alone can become brittle. Resilience is different. It is flexible strength. It allows impact without permanent collapse. The astonishing truth is that human beings often become more durable not by hardening, but by learning how to recover well. Shared laughter can synchronize people more powerfully than words. There are moments when a room changes all at once because laughter breaks through it. A shared joke, a sudden absurdity, a look that becomes funny for reasons no outsider could explain. In that instant, people align. Breathing shifts together. Faces brighten together. Tension drops together. Laughter does not only express amusement, it coordinates bodies and emotions in real time. This may be one reason it can bond people so quickly. A conversation can remain polite and distant, but one genuine laugh can create a sense of closeness in seconds. It says, we are seeing the same thing, feeling the same turn, moving in the same rhythm. That synchrony matters deeply in social life. It builds trust, softens threat, and reminds people that connection is not only verbal. Words can explain, dissuade, or inform. Laughter does something more immediate. It turns separate nervous systems into a brief chorus, and that may be one of the most powerful forms of human harmony. Volunteering is linked to better well-being, especially when it feels meaningful. There is a special kind of energy that comes from giving time to something larger than yourself. Volunteering can change the texture of a life because it brings effort, connection, and purpose into the same moment. A person stops being only a private individual managing private concerns and becomes part of a wider human exchange. That shift can brighten mood and strengthen resilience. Research has linked volunteering with better well-being, especially when the work feels personally meaningful rather than obligatory. That detail matters. The mind responds differently when service matches values. Helping at a food bank, reading with children, caring for animals, visiting older people, restoring a local park. Each of these can create a strong sense that your actions matter in visible ways. Meaning turns effort into nourishment. It also interrupts isolation, because service places people in living contact with need, gratitude, and shared purpose. In many cases, helping others becomes one of the clearest ways to strengthen your own life. A calm voice can regulate another nervous system in moments. Long before people understood neuroscience, they already knew that tone matters. A steady voice can do something astonishing to another human being. It can slow fear, lower tension, and make the body feel less alone almost immediately. This happens because the nervous system is constantly reading sound for signs of danger or safety. A harsh tone can tighten muscles and sharpen alarm within seconds. A warm, measured voice can send the opposite message. It says there is no immediate threat here. You can ease your guard. Parents do this with children, friends do it with one another. Nurses and caregivers do it in moments of pain, and sometimes strangers do it without knowing how powerful they are being. The words matter, but the music of the voice may matter first. That is what makes this so fascinating. Human beings can help regulate one another through sound alone. A voice can become shelter before any solution has even arrived. The foods you crave can shift with stress, sleep, and habit. Cravings are often treated as simple weakness, but they are shaped by a much more complicated story. What you long for is influenced not only by taste, but by biology, rhythm, memory, and state of mind. Stress can pull the body toward quick energy and intensely rewarding foods because the system is searching for relief. Poor sleep can alter hunger signals and make high-calorie choices feel more tempting than usual. Habit matters too. The brain learns what tends to arrive at certain times, and over repeated days, it begins preparing for that pattern in advance. This means cravings are not random impulses floating out of nowhere. They are often messages from a body responding to fatigue, routine, emotion, and learned expectation. That is why the same person may want entirely different foods depending on the week they are living through. Appetite becomes a kind of diary. It records stress, tiredness, repetition, and desire in the language of wanting. Predictability helps the nervous system feel safer and more settled. The nervous system is always trying to answer a basic question. What happens next? When the world becomes too unpredictable, vigilance rises. The body starts preparing for disruption because it cannot form a reliable map of what is coming. That is why predictability can feel so soothing. Regular routines, familiar people, stable places, and known sequences reduce the need for constant scanning. They allow the body to spend less energy bracing and more energy living. This is not because human beings want life to be dull. It is because safety often depends on pattern. A child calms when the same bedtime ritual returns. An adult settles when work, meals, and sleep happen with some order. Even in difficult seasons, a few reliable anchors can make the difference between strain and overwhelm. Predictability gives the nervous system something precious. It gives it a world that can be anticipated. In that anticipation, muscles loosen, attention steadies, and the mind is freed from some of its exhausting guard duty. Pain is shaped by the brain, context, memory, and expectation. Pain feels immediate and undeniable, which is why it can be so surprising to learn that it is not produced by injury alone. The brain plays a central role in deciding how strongly danger signals should be felt, and that decision is influenced by many factors. Context matters. A sensation may feel worse in a frightening setting and less intense in a trusted one. Memory matters too, because past injury can teach the system to stay more protective in the future. Expectation also changes experience. If the brain believes something is dangerous, pain can rise even before damage increases. This does not make suffering imaginary. It makes it deeply human and deeply biological. Pain is the brain's interpretation of threat to the body, not a perfect meter of tissue damage. That is a breathtaking idea, because it means healing can involve more than the injured part alone. It can involve safety, understanding, and changing how the whole system reads what is happening. Sleep helps separate what matters from what can be forgotten. Every waking day floods the brain with more information than it could ever keep. Faces, sounds, worries, facts, mistakes, passing details, useful lessons, trivial fragments. If all of it remained equally vivid, the mind would become crowded beyond usefulness. Sleep appears to help solve that problem. During the night, the brain seems to sort experience, strengthening some memories while allowing others to fade. In effect, it begins deciding what deserves a more lasting place and what can be released. This makes sleep feel less like passive rest and more like a hidden editor working through the raw material of life. Learning is sharpened by it. Emotional memory is shaped by it. The mind awakens with a cleaner, more usable version of yesterday than it had before bed. That is extraordinary when you think about it. While you are unconscious, the brain is quietly choosing what will become part of your continuing story and what will dissolve back into the vast background of forgotten time. Movement snacks through the day can help energy and metabolism. Many people imagine exercise as something that only counts if it happens in one long, formal session. but the body responds beautifully to shorter bursts of motion scattered through the day. A few minutes of walking, climbing stairs, stretching, carrying something, standing up and moving after long sitting. All of these can help wake up energy systems that start to dull when the body stays still too long. These brief periods of movement can support metabolism, improve circulation, and help attention return with more freshness. What makes this so fascinating is that the body seems to care about regular interruption of stillness, not only about total effort. Human beings were not built to remain parked for hours at a time. We are creatures of repeated motion. Small movements repeated often may fit that design better than one intense burst, followed by immobility. In that sense, tiny acts of activity become like sparks through the day, keeping the system more awake, responsive, and alive. Feeling useful can protect well-being even during difficult life seasons. There are times when life becomes heavy enough that pleasure feels distant and certainty disappears. In those seasons, one of the most stabilizing experiences can be the feeling of being useful. To know that your presence helps, that your effort matters, that something is better because you are here, can protect the mind against despair in powerful ways. Usefulness creates traction. It gives suffering less room to become emptiness. A person caring for a child, supporting a friend, tending a home, fixing what is broken, teaching a skill, or simply showing up reliably may draw strength from that role, even when joy is scarce. This is not because usefulness solves every pain. It is because meaning can coexist with hardship and keep a life from collapsing inward. The remarkable part is how modest this can be. A small task done for someone else may hold more psychological weight than a dramatic achievement. To feel needed is often to feel anchored. Green exercise combines movement and nature into a powerful mental reset. When movement happens outdoors among trees, grass, open sky, or even a modest park, two powerful influences on well-being begin working together. The body receives the benefits of motion, and the mind receives the restorative signals of a living environment. This combination can feel strikingly different from exercise done in a closed room. Walking through a wooded path, cycling beside water, jogging through a park, or stretching under open sky often seems to lighten effort while deepening its mental effect. Thoughts loosen. Irritation fades. Attention feels less trapped. Part of this may come from the way natural settings soften vigilance and invite broader awareness. Part comes from the rhythm of the movement itself. Together they create something like a reset, not only for muscles and circulation, but for mood and perception. It is astonishing that such an accessible combination can be so powerful. A body in motion through a living landscape often remembers, very quickly, what feeling more human can be like. Your attention is a well-being resource, and stress tries to steal it. Attention may be one of the most valuable resources you possess, because whatever it rests on begins shaping your inner world. Yet stress has a way of hijacking it. The mind becomes drawn toward threat, unfinished problems, imagined futures, and repeated checking for what might go wrong next. This narrowing can be useful in true emergency, but damaging when it becomes the default setting of daily life. Stress begins feeding on attention, and attention begins feeding stress right back. That is why well-being depends partly on learning where the mind is spending its light. Focus placed on rest, meaning, beauty, connection, or one clear task can restore a sense of steadiness. Focus scattered across too many alarms can leave the whole system depleted. The fascinating part is that attention is not only mental. It has bodily consequences. It shapes tension, mood, memory, and fatigue. In a real sense, protecting your attention is one of the ways you protect your life. Breathing through the nose changes airflow, chemistry, and sometimes calm. The nose is not just a doorway for air. It is an active part of how breathing shapes the body. As air passes through the nasal passages, it is filtered, warmed, slowed, and humidified before reaching the lungs. That alone makes breathing gentler on the system, but there is more. Nasal breathing also affects airflow resistance, which can influence how fully the lungs expand and how gases are exchanged. Some research suggests it may help support levels of nitric oxide, a molecule involved in blood flow and other bodily functions. Many people also find that breathing this way encourages a steadier rhythm, which can make the whole system feel less agitated. Mouth breathing has its place during hard effort, but at rest, the nose often provides a more regulated path. It is remarkable that such a small change in route can alter chemistry, sensation, and pace. The body sometimes finds calm not through force, but through using its own design more wisely. Strong well-being includes flexibility, not permanent happiness or perfect balance. Many people imagine well-being as a flawless state, a life of constant peace, stable mood, and graceful balance that never wobbles. But real well-being is usually much more alive than that. It includes the ability to adapt when life changes shape. A person with strong well-being may still feel grief, frustration, fear, exhaustion, or doubt. The difference is not that these states never arrive. The difference is that they do not become permanent homes. Flexibility allows the mind and body to respond, recover, and reorganize when conditions shift. That might mean resting when energy drops, asking for help when pressure rises, or changing expectations when old plans no longer fit reality. This is a more generous and more realistic view of health. It does not demand permanent sunshine. It values range, recovery, and movement. The astonishing truth is that a good life is not one that never bends. It is one that can bend, sway, and still remain whole. Novel experiences can stretch time and make life feel richer. There are periods in life that seem to vanish in a blur, while others feel spacious and memorable. One reason may be novelty. When the brain encounters something new, it pays closer attention. Details stand out. Memory becomes richer. A new street, a different meal, a first conversation, an unfamiliar skill. Even a small break from routine can leave a stronger imprint than another ordinary repetition of the same day. This matters because time is not only measured by clocks, it is also measured by how much of life the mind actually records. Repetition is efficient, but novelty makes experience feel fuller. That may be why childhood often feels so long in memory. So much is being encountered for the first time. As adults, we can still create that effect. Newness tells the brain, this matters, notice this, store this. In doing so, it can make life feel less automatic and more vivid. A richer memory can become a richer sense of living. The body often heals best when challenge is followed by recovery. Human biology is built for cycles. Muscles strengthen after exertion and rest. Bones adapt after load and repair. The cardiovascular system improves when effort is followed by enough recovery for the change to settle in. Even the immune system seems to benefit from a life that includes stimulation without endless overload. This pattern appears again and again. The body is not designed for permanent softness, but neither is it designed for unbroken strain. It grows through alternating phases of demand and restoration. That is what makes this principle so powerful. A challenge gives the system a reason to adapt. Recovery gives it the conditions to do so. Without challenge, the body may lose capacity. Without recovery, it may lose resilience. Many people mistake non-stop effort for strength, yet the deeper truth is more elegant. Human beings are rhythmic creatures. We become stronger not from stress alone, but from the conversation between stress and repair, effort and renewal, strain and release. Emotional contagion means moods can spread quietly through groups. Walk into a room, and you may feel its emotional weather before anyone speaks. That is not imagination. Human beings are exquisitely sensitive to one another's expressions, tone, posture, pace, and energy. A tense leader can make a whole team sharper and less creative. One anxious family member can shift the atmosphere of a meal. A genuinely cheerful person can brighten a group without trying. This is emotional contagion, the subtle spread of feeling from one nervous system to another. It happens partly because people mirror one another automatically. The body reads faces, hears voices, and begins adjusting its own state in response. That makes emotion a social force, not merely a private one. Moods travel through spaces like invisible currents. This can be harmful, but it can also be beautiful. Calm spreads. Warmth spreads. Encouragement spreads. The astonishing lesson is that every person helps shape the inner climate around them. Well-being is never only personal. It is shared through presence. Sleep deprivation can increase conflict by weakening emotional control. A tired brain does not negotiate with the world in the same way a rested one does. When sleep is cut short, patience often thins first. Small annoyances feel sharper. Tone is easier to misread. Impulses arrive faster than reflection. That happens because sleep supports the brain systems involved in regulation, perspective, and judgment. Without enough of it, emotional reactions can rise more quickly, while the ability to pause and respond wisely becomes less reliable. This is why conflict so often grows in tired households, tired workplaces, and tired relationships. The issue may look like personality or attitude, yet part of the fire may simply be fatigue. A neutral comment can sound like criticism. A delay can feel like rejection. A minor inconvenience can become a full argument. That is astonishing when you think about it. A lack of sleep can alter not just mood, but the social fabric of daily life. Rest protects relationships partly by protecting self-control. Warm baths can support relaxation by helping body temperature fall afterward. At first, it seems backwards. A warm bath raises body temperature, so why can it help people relax and prepare for sleep? The answer lies in what happens afterward. Heat draws blood toward the skin, and when you leave the bath, the body begins releasing that warmth into the surrounding air. As a result, core temperature can start to fall. That drop is one of the signals associated with the approach of sleep and physical unwinding. The bath also provides something harder to measure, but easy to feel. It creates enclosure, stillness, and a pause in the demands of the day. Muscles may loosen. Breathing may slow. Attention narrows to sensation rather than worry. Yet the temperature effect is part of the hidden elegance. The body is being nudged toward its nighttime rhythm through a gentle thermal shift. It is remarkable that warmth can prepare the way for cooling, and that this simple sequence can help the whole system move toward rest. The microbiome may influence mood through chemicals made in the gut. Inside the digestive system lives a dense community of microbes so numerous and so chemically active that some scientists describe it almost like an internal ecosystem with wide influence. These bacteria and other tiny organisms help break down food, interact with the immune system, and produce compounds that may affect the nervous system as well. This is where well-being becomes especially fascinating. The gut is not only processing meals, it may also be sending biochemical signals that shape mood, stress response, and mental clarity. Researchers are still uncovering the details, and the picture is complex, but the possibility itself is extraordinary. Tiny organisms living inside us may contribute to how we feel and function. That changes the meaning of the phrase gut feeling. It suggests that the boundary between mind and body is even less tidy than we once believed. Human emotion may be influenced not only by thoughts and events, but by microscopic life sharing the interior of the body. Seeing water is often linked to calm, restoration, and reflection. People across cultures are drawn to rivers, coasts, lakes, fountains, and rain for reasons that feel emotional, but may also be biological. Water has movement without hurry. It catches light, repeats patterns, and creates sound that can soften harsher noise. Watching waves or flowing current often seems to quiet mental clutter, as though the mind begins matching a slower and more spacious rhythm. Researchers have found links between blue spaces and improved well-being, which suggests this attraction is not merely poetic. Water may help restore attention and reduce strain in ways the modern nervous system deeply appreciates. It also invites reflection. A shoreline or riverbank seems to make room for thought. Perhaps it is because water is always changing without seeming frantic. It moves, but it does not rush. It can hold both energy and stillness at once. That may be why people so often turn toward it when overwhelmed. The sight of water can feel like permission to loosen the mind's grip. Tiny habits can outlast intense motivation because they cost less effort. Motivation is dramatic, but it is unreliable. It surges after a new idea, a strong emotion, or a turning point, then fades when life becomes busy, dull, or difficult. Tiny habits work differently. They ask for so little effort that they can continue even when enthusiasm is gone. One stretch after waking. One page read before sleep. 1 minute of breathing. One glass of water placed at the start of the day. These actions look almost too small to matter, yet that is part of their genius. They lower resistance. The brain does not need a heroic mood to begin. Repetition then gives the act a foothold in daily life, and from there it can grow. What makes this so fascinating is that consistency often matters more than intensity. Human beings are changed by what returns. A tiny habit repeated through ordinary days can outlast grand plans made in emotional weather. Lasting well-being often begins with what is easy enough to keep doing. Memory is kinder when life includes novelty, meaning, and attention. Memory is not a cold recording device. It is selective, emotional, and deeply shaped by the quality of experience. Days that blur together often leave only a faint trace behind, while moments filled with novelty, meaning, and full attention tend to stay. A new place, an important conversation, a difficult lesson, a surprising joy. These are more likely to be carried forward because the brain treats them as significant. Attention acts like a spotlight, telling memory what deserves to be stored. Meaning gives the moment weight. Novelty gives it contour. Together, they make life feel richer, not only in the present, but later, when the mind looks back and finds something vivid waiting there. This matters for well-being because remembered life becomes part of felt life. A person whose days contain more truly noticed moments often feels less as though time is vanishing. Memory becomes kinder when experience is lived with enough depth to leave a generous mark. Too little rest can make pleasure feel flatter and harder to reach. When the body is underrested, the loss is not only energy. Something subtler can happen. Enjoyment itself may begin to dim. Music feels less moving. Food feels less satisfying. Conversation feels harder to enter. Even things that usually bring comfort can seem strangely far away, as though pleasure is still visible but no longer fully available. This may happen because rest helps support the brain systems involved in reward, emotional responsiveness, and motivation. Without enough recovery, the mind can shift into a mode focused more on getting through than truly feeling. Life becomes functional, but less vivid. That is one reason exhaustion can be so disorienting. It does not only make tasks harder, it can make goodness harder to receive. The world has not necessarily lost its beauty. The system has lost some capacity to register it. In that sense, rest is not just what restores strength. It also helps restore access to delight, warmth, and the felt texture of being alive. Learning new skills can protect well-being by building confidence and agency. There is something deeply strengthening about discovering that you can become more capable than you were before. Learning a skill does more than fill time or add knowledge. It changes the relationship between a person and the world. When you learn to cook a new dish, repair something broken, speak in another language, play an instrument, use a tool, or master a craft, the mind receives powerful evidence that growth is possible. That sense of agency matters enormously for well-being. It says you are not fixed, helpless, or finished. You can act, adapt, and widen your range. Skill learning also gives the brain a rich combination of challenge, feedback, and progress, which can be deeply energizing. The task may begin awkwardly, but that is part of the magic. Competence grows from repeated uncertainty. Over time, confidence becomes less like empty reassurance and more like lived proof. A capable mind often feels safer in the world because it has learned how to meet it. Secure attachment in childhood can echo through health across a lifetime. Early relationships help teach the body what human connection means. When a child is met with reliable care, comfort, and protection, something foundational begins to form. The world becomes more predictable. Distress is more likely to be soothed. Trust has somewhere to grow. This pattern, often called secure attachment, can echo far beyond childhood because it shapes how the nervous system learns to relate to stress, closeness, and safety. A child who is consistently cared for may be more likely to develop steadier emotional regulation, healthier relationships, and a stronger sense that support is possible when life becomes hard. None of this means life will be easy, or that early difficulty decides everything forever. Human beings remain changeable, yet the early template matters. It can influence health across the years by shaping sleep, stress responses, coping, and social connection. In that sense, love given early is not only emotional kindness. It can become part of the architecture of lifelong well-being. Psychological safety helps people think better, speak honestly, and recover faster. There are spaces where people become smaller than they really are. They hide doubts, soften ideas, avoid questions, and spend energy trying not to make mistakes. Then there are spaces where people can think out loud, admit uncertainty, and say what they actually see. That difference is often psychological safety. When people feel they will not be humiliated, dismissed, or punished for speaking honestly, the mind works differently. Curiosity grows. Creativity increases. Learning becomes easier because error is no longer treated as a threat to worth. Recovery also speeds up after difficulty because people do not have to waste so much effort on self-protection. This matters in families, friendships, classrooms, workplaces, and teams of every kind. Safety is not softness or lack of standards. It is the condition that allows standards to be met without fear poisoning the process. Human beings think better when they are not defending themselves all the time. A safe environment can unlock intelligence that pressure alone never could. A meaningful goal can make discomfort feel more bearable. The same effort can feel completely different depending on what it is for. Climbing a hill just to suffer through it is one experience. Climbing it to reach someone, see something, build something, or become something is another. Meaning changes the way discomfort is carried. It does not erase pain, fatigue, frustration, or delay, but it gives them a context that the mind can accept more willingly. A person training for a cause, working toward a craft, caring for a loved one, or enduring a difficult season in service of something deeply valued often finds reserves that seem absent in meaningless strain. This is one of the great mysteries of human well-being. The body can bear more when the heart understands why. Purpose changes the flavor of effort. Suffering without meaning feels pointless and heavy. Difficulty in service of something real can feel costly, but also coherent. A meaningful goal turns discomfort from mere burden into part of a larger path. Sleep and emotion are partners, each shaping the other every day. Sleep and emotion are locked in a daily dance, each influencing the other in ways that can either steady a life or unsettle it. A poor night can leave feelings sharper, heavier, and harder to regulate by morning. Small problems seem larger. Patience runs thinner. Meanwhile, a stressful or sorrowful day can follow you into the night, making rest more fragile and sleep more difficult to reach. This creates a powerful loop. Better sleep often supports better emotional balance, and better emotional balance often supports better sleep. What makes this so fascinating is how ordinary and how profound the cycle is. Every day, these two forces are in conversation. The mind carries its burdens into the body, and the body answers back through the quality of rest it can provide. This means well-being is shaped not by sleep or emotion alone, but by their partnership. Change one and the other often begins to shift, sometimes for the better with surprising speed. Healthy boundaries protect energy, relationships, and long-term well-being. Many people hear the word boundary and imagine distance, coldness, or rejection. But healthy boundaries often do the opposite. They make closeness more sustainable. A boundary is a clear line around time, energy, responsibility, and emotional space. It helps define what you can offer without resentment and what you cannot carry without harm. Without boundaries, people may overextend, grow depleted, and begin to withdraw in less honest ways. With them, care becomes clearer and more durable. Relationships benefit because expectations become less tangled. Energy benefits because the body is not forced into constant overgiving. Long-term well-being benefits because rest, work, intimacy, and solitude all have a chance to exist in the right proportions. Boundaries are not walls against love. They are structures that keep love from collapsing under confusion and strain. In that sense, a boundary is a form of wisdom. It protects what matters by recognizing that a human life is finite, valuable, and not built for limitless demand. Watching clouds or flames can gently quiet the brain's vigilance. Some sights seem to hold attention without gripping it too tightly. Clouds drifting across the sky and flames moving in a fire are both examples of this strange and soothing quality. They are always changing, yet not in ways that demand urgent reaction. The mind can follow their motion without having to solve anything. This may be one reason they can feel calming. They give attention somewhere to rest that is alive, patterned, and softly absorbing. Vigilance begins to loosen because the brain is engaged, but not threatened. There is no task to complete, no signal to decode, no pressure to answer. Just movement, variation, and time unfolding at a pace older than human urgency. This matters more than it may seem. In a world full of abrupt alerts and hard edges, certain forms of natural motion invite the nervous system into a different mode. Watching clouds or flames can become a simple way of reminding the body that not everything requires readiness. Micro moments of connection can improve a whole day's emotional tone. Connection does not always arrive through deep conversation or major life events. Sometimes it appears in the smallest exchanges. A familiar barista remembering your order. A stranger smiling in passing. A shared look of understanding with someone on a train. A brief message that says, "I was thinking of you." These moments may seem too tiny to matter, yet they can alter the emotional tone of a day in surprising ways. Human beings are exquisitely responsive to signs of recognition. To be noticed, welcomed, or met with warmth, even briefly, can shift the nervous system toward ease. A day that felt anonymous begins to feel inhabited by other people again. That matters because well-being is shaped not only by grand relationships, but by repeated evidence that social life contains kindness and contact. The heart does not always need a long speech. Sometimes it needs one clear signal that it is not moving through the world alone. Small connections can carry enormous emotional weight. The body likes regularity, but the mind also needs surprise. Human well-being depends on an elegant tension between pattern and novelty. The body thrives on regular signals. It likes sleep that arrives at roughly the same time, meals that do not appear in chaos, and rhythms it can predict well enough to regulate hormones, energy, and rest. Yet the mind is built for discovery. Too much sameness can flatten attention, dull memory, and make life feel as though it is slipping by unseen. This is where surprise becomes important. A new route home, an unfamiliar recipe, an unexpected conversation, a place never visited before. These small breaks in routine wake the mind back up. The remarkable thing is that health may need both. The body prefers stability, while the mind often comes alive through variation. A good life is rarely built from disorder alone, or routine alone. It is shaped by steady foundations with enough freshness laid across them to keep time from becoming invisible and experience from becoming stale. Taste, smell, and memory can combine into sudden feelings of comfort. A single bite or scent can reopen an entire emotional world in an instant. The flavor of soup from childhood, toast in a quiet kitchen, oranges at winter holidays, tea in a familiar mug. These experiences can reach far beyond the tongue. Taste and smell are deeply entangled with memory, and when they arrive together, they can bring back places, people, and feelings with astonishing force. Sometimes the memory is clear and detailed. At other times, it is only a wave of comfort with no obvious story attached. That mystery is part of what makes it so powerful. The body seems to remember safety and belonging in sensory form. A smell can say home before the mind finds words for why. This matters for well-being because comfort is not always abstract. It can be carried in steam, spice, sweetness, and warmth. Human memory does not only live in thought. Sometimes it returns through the mouth and the air. Feeling seen and understood is a real biological stress reliever. There is a profound difference between being near people and feeling truly understood by them. When another person recognizes what you are carrying and responds with accuracy, care, and presence, the body often changes almost immediately. Breathing loosens. Muscles release. The effort of self-protection drops. This is not sentimentality. It is regulation. To feel unseen can keep the nervous system tense because misunderstanding forces a person to keep monitoring, explaining, and bracing. To feel understood has the opposite effect. It reduces the work of defense. That is why a single conversation can sometimes feel more restorative than hours of distraction. The human body reads attunement as safety. A listening face, a voice that gets it right, a response that lands where the pain actually is. These become biological events, not only emotional ones. Well-being is shaped by many things, but one of the most powerful may be this simple human experience: being known without having to fight for recognition. Restorative silence can lower overload in an increasingly noisy world. Modern life surrounds people with sound that asks something of them. Engines, alerts, voices, traffic, screens, machines, background music, endless layers of stimulation can keep the nervous system slightly engaged, even when no obvious danger is present. Silence, by contrast, can feel like a clearing in the middle of mental weather. In true quiet, the body often begins noticing how tired it has actually been. Attention stops scattering. Thought lengthens. The senses no longer have to keep sorting signal from signal. This is why restorative silence can feel so rich rather than empty. It gives the brain fewer demands and more room to settle into itself. For some people, the first moments of quiet are uncomfortable because inner noise becomes easier to hear. Yet beyond that threshold, there is often relief. Silence can become a form of care. In a culture crowded with input, the absence of sound is not merely nothing. It is a condition in which overload can finally begin to drain away. Well-being grows faster in environments that make healthy choices easier. People often talk about health as though it were built by willpower alone, but environments shape behavior far more than most of us notice. A person is more likely to move when walking paths are nearby, more likely to rest when evenings are not flooded with demands, and more likely to eat well when nourishing food is visible and convenient. The same is true in reverse. Environments full of friction, noise, temptation, and stress make healthy choices harder, even for motivated people. This is why well-being is not just a personal project. It is also an architectural one. Rooms, schedules, neighborhoods, workplaces, kitchens, social circles. All of these quietly steer behavior day after day. The astonishing lesson is that a life can improve not only by changing the person, but by changing the setting around them. Human beings do better when good choices are easy, obvious, and repeated. Often the fastest path to better health is not more discipline, but a wiser environment. Your future mood is often shaped by tonight's sleep and tomorrow's light. Mood can feel mysterious in the moment, as though it rises from nowhere and simply decides the emotional tone of a day. Yet some of tomorrow's feelings are already being prepared by choices and conditions that happen before morning fully begins. Tonight's sleep will influence how regulated, patient, and resilient the brain feels when it wakes. Tomorrow's light, especially early light, will help set the clock that governs alertness, timing, and the body's wider rhythm. Together they form a hidden bridge between one day and the next. That is what makes this so fascinating. Your future emotional state is not only a reaction to events. It is partly being built in advance through rest and timing. A short night can make the world feel harsher. Good sleep, followed by real daylight, can make the same world feel more workable. Mood is not entirely under conscious control, but it is not entirely random either. Biology is already writing part of tomorrow. Healthy aging is supported by movement, purpose, friendship, and adaptability. Aging well is often imagined as a matter of luck or genetics alone, but the picture appears far richer than that. Bodies and minds tend to fare better over time when life still contains movement, meaningful direction, strong social bonds, and the ability to adapt when circumstances change. Movement helps preserve strength, balance, circulation, and confidence in the body. Purpose gives the future a reason to keep unfolding. Friendship protects against isolation and keeps emotion in contact with other lives. Adaptability may be the quiet hero among them all, because aging always involves change. Roles shift, energy changes, loss arrives. The people who age most robustly are not always those who resist change best, but those who keep reshaping life around it. This is a hopeful vision of growing older. It suggests that health across time is not just about avoiding decline. It is about continuing to participate, connect, adjust, and remain engaged with life in ways the body and mind still recognize as worth showing up for. The happiest lives are rarely easiest. They are often most connected. It is tempting to imagine happiness as the result of comfort, smoothness, and the absence of difficulty. Yet many of the most fulfilled people do not have especially easy lives. They have demanding lives that are richly tied to others. They care for families, show up for friends, belong to communities, work toward purposes, and remain woven into webs of mutual meaning. Connection does not remove pain. In fact, it often increases vulnerability because love gives life more ways to matter. But it also gives struggle a context that isolation cannot provide. Joy becomes shareable. Burdens become dividable. Ordinary days become inhabited by voices, faces, and relationships that make existence feel less solitary. This is why the happiest lives are often not the lightest or simplest. They are the ones most deeply threaded through other people. Happiness, in that sense, may depend less on ease than on belonging. A connected life can remain worth living even when it is not comfortable. Well-being is not one thing. It is an ecosystem. To understand well-being, it helps to stop imagining a single switch that turns life good or bad. Human flourishing is more like an ecosystem, made of many conditions interacting at once. Sleep affects mood. Mood affects relationships. Relationships affect stress. Stress affects digestion, attention, immunity, and energy. Purpose changes endurance. Environment shapes habits. Movement influences the mind. Food influences the body. The body influences thought right back. Nothing stands alone for very long. This is what makes well-being both complicated and hopeful. Complicated, because there is rarely one perfect answer. Hopeful, because change in one part of the system can ripple outward into many others. A person may begin with light, or walking, or friendship, or rest, and discover that several parts of life improve together. An ecosystem can be harmed by imbalance, but it can also be restored piece by piece. Well-being is not a single achievement to unlock. It is a living network to tend, protect, and slowly help thrive. Small changes repeated gently can transform a life more than grand intentions. Grand intentions are exciting because they make change feel dramatic and immediate. A new life seems possible by tonight, complete and shining. Yet the changes that truly endure are often quieter than that. A few minutes of walking, a regular bedtime, one honest conversation, one glass of water placed where it will be drunk, one boundary held. One small act of care returned to each day until it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. This is where transformation really becomes believable. Repetition teaches the body and mind what to expect. Tiny actions accumulate beneath notice until one day the person standing in the mirror is living differently without needing constant force. The beauty of gentle change is that it can survive real life. It does not require a perfect week or heroic energy. It only needs enough steadiness to return tomorrow. Over time, what looks modest can become profound. A life is often changed less by one decision than by what keeps being done after it. As we come to the end of this quiet journey, you might notice how wide and intricate this idea of well-being really is. It is not one habit, or one moment, or one perfect day. It is something softer and more connected than that. A living system that moves with you, shaped by your breath, your rest, your relationships, your attention, and the small choices that return again and again. Across these moments, we've wandered through the body and the mind, through sleep and light, through connection and meaning, through movement and stillness. And perhaps what lingers is this gentle realization that well-being is not something you chase far into the distance. It is something that quietly grows in the spaces you already live in. Now, there is nothing you need to figure out, and nowhere you need to go. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your jaw soften. Let your breathing slow, just slightly, as your body begins to settle. Imagine the day drifting further away, like ripples fading across still water. Each thought can come and go without needing to stay. Each breath can carry you a little deeper into rest. If you enjoyed this journey, you might like to stay a little longer. There is another video waiting for you, ready to carry you gently onward if you find yourself still awake. And if not, that's perfectly fine too. For now, just rest here. Sleep well and good night.